It surprises many people to know that original Medicare doesn't really cover prescription drugs. And it's estimated that somewhere around 90% of senior citizens take some type of prescription drug, with over 50% taking more than 4. So if you're in the majority, you may want to look into some type of prescription drug plan. With Medicare, you have 2 options. You have Medicare Part D and Medicare Advantage, which is also known as Medicare Part C. So if you're going to keep original Medicare and perhaps look into a Medicare supplement plan, then Part D is your best option. If you're looking to replace original Medicare with a Medicare Advantage plan, then that may be able to provide your prescription drug coverage. However, not all Part C plans offer prescription drug coverage, so if it's something that's important to you, make sure that your plan does. Part D plans are offered by private carriers. However, they are federally regulated, and there are certain benefits, certain criteria that all plans must meet. Now, all plans must have these 4 stages of Part D. That would be the deductible, the period of initial coverage, the coverage gap or donut hole, and catastrophic coverage. Now, carriers can offer better benefits to compete for your business, but they have to meet those criteria as set by the federal government. Every year, Medicare sets a max deductible that any carrier, any plan can require. In 2021, the max deductible is $445. Now, these do tend to increase on a yearly basis to accommodate for inflation and rising health care costs, but as of 2021, the max deductible is $445. Of course, your plan, your carrier may choose to lower that deductible or waive it entirely to compete for your business. Now, when you're in this stage, if your plan does have a deductible, that means that you'll have to pay out of pocket for the full cost of the medication. The only exception to this are some very, very limited prescription drugs offered by Medicare Part B, which we cover in other videos. But basically, usually if you're in the deductible or you haven't met your deductible, if your prescription costs $75, you're going to pay $75. And that's going to continue until you meet the deductible as set by Medicare and your plan. After that, you'll enter into the period of initial coverage. Once you've met your deductible, if your plan has one, you'll enter into the period of initial coverage, and this is when your insurance more or less kicks in. As opposed to being responsible for the entirety of the cost of the drug, you'll be responsible for a set copay dependent upon the tier of the medication. And there are 5 tiers. Preferred generic, non-preferred generic, preferred brand, non-preferred brand, and specialty medication. As the tiers get higher, so generally speaking, do the copays. And of course, Medicare is keeping track of how much you're spending and how much Medicare is spending as you approach the limit for stage 2. In 2021, that limit is $4,130, and you really want to avoid hitting that limit as much as possible because once you do, you'll move into stage 3, which is the coverage gap, also known as the donut hole. Stage 3 is the coverage gap, also known as the donut hole. This is where people tend to get pretty confused because your price, your cost share is going to change from stage 2 to stage 3. So you're no longer going to be responsible for a set copay, but rather a percentage of the drug's actual cost. You'll be responsible for up to 25% of the drug's actual cost. Generally speaking, you're going to notice that your cost share is going to jump, perhaps quite significantly, which is why many people get confused and frustrated. You may see your cost go from 25 to 75 or even more. Now, chances are, if this happens, you are in the donut hole, but if for whatever reason you feel like you've been charged erroneously, we highly recommend that you contact your broker. Now, this stage, like the previous stages, also has a cap, and in 2021, it's $6,550. So again, Medicare is going to keep track of how much you're spending and how much Medicare is spending, because once you reach that cap, you'll move into the final stage, which is catastrophic coverage. Stage 4 is catastrophic coverage. The purpose of this stage is to really put a limit on how much your responsibility for your prescription drugs may be. Medicare wants to ensure that you're not spending an exorbitant amount on prescription drugs. So at this point in time, you'll only be charged up to 5% of the drug's cost. It may be $9.20 for a name brand or $3.70 for a generic. It depends upon your plan. But there's really no more tiers or stages or anything like that to worry about. You're just going to be charged a certain set amount, and it's going to be much lower than the other stages. There are several opportunities to enroll in a prescription drug plan. The first option, of course, is to enroll during your individual open enrollment period, which is the 3 months before you turn 65, the month of your 65th birthday, and the 3 months thereafter. This is the easiest time to do so, and it can help you to avoid late penalties. Now, you may also be able to take advantage of a special enrollment period. Let's say you're working past 65, as people are doing more and more these days, and you've deferred your Medicare enrollment. You may be able to take advantage of a special enrollment period. There's also a very, very long list of qualifying life events that may make you eligible for a special enrollment period, so make sure to check out Medicare.gov for that full list. And finally, of course, there's the annual enrollment period. This is every year at the same time from October 15th to December 7th, and you can enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan or Medicare Part D. But remember, there can be late penalties associated with prescription drug coverage. If you go for a period of more than 63 days without creditable prescription drug coverage, then you may be subject to a late penalty. If you do miss out on the ideal time to enroll and you are subject to a late penalty, don't fret just yet. The late penalty is calculated as 1% for each month without creditable coverage times the national base beneficiary premium. So it most likely won't be too much added to your monthly premium. It could be a couple tens of cents. It could be a couple of dollars or more if you go for a longer period without creditable coverage. But it does get tacked onto your monthly premium forever. We're on Medicare.gov, and I'm going to walk you through your two options for prescription drug coverage. So that would be Medicare Part D and Medicare Advantage. So first, let's scroll down to where it says Find Plans. We're going to continue without logging in. And now you'll see here there's Medicare Advantage or Drug Plan, which is Part D. So let's start with Medicare Advantage. We're going to put in a zip code. Then it's going to ask if you get help with your costs from one of these programs. Medicaid, Supplemental Security Income, Medicare Savings Program, Extra Help, which we will talk about in just a moment. I'm not sure, or I don't get help from any of these programs. So we're going to click I don't get help. Of course, if you do get help, you would click on that bubble instead. Do you want to see your drug costs when you compare plans? So if you take prescription drugs, I highly recommend that you click yes, because it's going to affect how your plans are filtered and sorted when we actually get to the next page, and it's going to give you more accurate information so that way you can make the best possible decision regarding your prescription drug plan. So it says, great to see drug costs. Get ready to enter the name, dosage, quantity, and frequency for each drug you take regularly. So you'll need to have that information handy. So I'm going to put in Lipitor, which is a very common cholesterol medication. Lipitor has a lower cost generic version. So if you can take the generic, always a good idea to add the generic because it will be much less expensive. So it's prompting us for $30 every month. So we're going to say sure, add to my drug list. And that's enough for right now. It's going to show me several pharmacy options. So let's just click Walmart and CVS. Of course, you can click more if there's more pharmacies that work for you, but that's enough for our purposes today. Now it's loading all the plans available, so there are 53 Medicare Advantage plans. Now this is Medicare Advantage plans in general. Today's video is regarding prescription drug coverage. So right over here, you see this drop down that says drug coverage. We're going to want to only select plans that include drug coverage. So you click that and apply. And it's now filtered out 5 of the plans. We had 53 before, now we have 48 plans that all include prescription drug coverage. And because we put in a prescription drug, it is sorting it by lowest drug plus premium cost. So if we hadn't put in any prescription drug information, then it would really only be able to filter it by, or rather sort it by premium cost. So if you scroll down, here's some information regarding your yearly drug and premium cost. Now, of course, with Medicare Advantage, there's more plan benefits over on the right-hand side, but we discussed that in another video. Today, we're just really talking about prescription drug coverage. So you'll see that this plan has a $0 drug deductible. Some plans have a drug deductible, meaning that you have to pay out of pocket for your prescription drugs until you meet that deductible. $0 drug deductible, $100 drug deductible. This can be a little bit confusing with Medicare Advantage. Medicare Advantage replaces original Medicare entirely. So it says here that your monthly premium is $0, but you still have to pay for Medicare Part B. So that's that $148.50 standard Part B premium or more, dependent upon your income. So let's click over here, View Drugs and Their Costs. So it's taking us right to this portion of the benefits page. Okay. So drug coverage and costs. As we discussed earlier in the video, in stage 2, which is the initial coverage phase, you have copays or coinsurance dependent upon the tier of the medication. So you'll see a preferred generic is $0, a generic is $0, preferred brand is a $47 copay with this plan, non-preferred is $97 with this plan, and if it's a specialty tier medication, you would pay 31% of the drug's actual cost. Then when we move into the coverage gap or donut hole, that's at 25%. And in the catastrophic coverage phase, it's $370 for generic or 5%, or $920 or 5%. You can also see that both pharmacies that we selected are preferred in-network pharmacies, which means it's going to be a lowest cost there. And here it's breaking down your costs a little bit further. So this one actually has $0, it won't cost you anything before the deductible, even though this plan does have a deductible. Then, based on the tier of the medication, it's $0 in that initial coverage period, $216 in the coverage gap, and because it's a generic, it's only going to be $3.70 once you reach the catastrophic coverage phase. And then it breaks it down even further. So you can see at CVS, it's even less expensive. $0, $0, $1.10, and then $3.70 still in the coverage gap. Now, if you had additional drugs that you put in, additional prescriptions, then you would have more information that would be populated here. Now let's take a look at just the Part D plans. So again, we're going to continue without logging in, but if you have an account or you wanted to create an account, you would of course click this button. Now we're going to click Drug Plan Part D. We'll put in the same zip code. It's going to ask us the same question about getting help with costs from any of these programs. Again, we're going to click I don't get help from any of these programs. Since we were just here, it actually still has the drug that I put in, so we'll just keep going forward. It's giving me the option to add a mail order pharmacy, so I'm going to click that. That way you can see the prices as well. And let's click the same two pharmacies just for comparison's sake. Now I'm doing comparisons here in this zip code, obviously. However, your prices, the plans that are available to you are going to be dependent upon where you live, where you are geographically. So again, it is showing me plans sorted by lowest drug plus premium cost. Now you may have noticed with Medicare Advantage that some of those plans have no additional premium other than the Medicare Part B premium. That's not the case with Medicare Part D. There is going to be some type of premium. So over here we have the first plan that it's offering us, which has a $7.30 premium. And here's the estimate of your yearly drug and premium cost based on the information that we put in. And it does have that $445 drug deductible. So Medicare Part D has those 4 stages that we talked about. So this plan has the full deductible. Now, if you were to scroll down, or even if you wanted to sort it differently, you can sort it by drug deductible instead. So this plan has waived the drug deductible, but that monthly premium is much, much higher, as is the anticipated yearly drug and premium cost. For comparison's sake, let's go back and look at that other plan again. So this one has a $62.70 premium, and the estimated yearly cost is $376.20 and a $0 drug deductible. Let's go back to this. This one has a $7.30 monthly premium, estimate of $43.80, and $445 deductible. So you always need to weigh your deductibles and your premiums and figure out which is the plan that's right for your needs. Now, if I want to compare multiple plans, they make it very easy. You can compare up to 3 plans. So let's do that actually. Let's just pick the first 3 plans. And we're going to compare. And here you go. It's going to give you a snapshot. So here are the 3 plans, a $7.30 premium, $13.50, and $14.70. They all have the full drug deductible. Now it's showing me what my costs might be with the pharmacies that I have chosen. You'll notice on this plan, there's definitely a big difference from Walmart to CVS, but from CVS to the mail order, it's the same. This second plan, it's all the same. And this third plan, you'll see that Walmart is less expensive than CVS, and it's the same as the mail order pharmacy. Sometimes the mail order pharmacies are less expensive, so it's good to put that in if that's an option for you. Now let's take a look at the plan details. So this is going to break it down similarly to what we looked at before. So for the tiers of medications, you have a $0 copay for a preferred generic, then $19, $46, 48%, and 25%. In the donut hole, it would be 25%. And in catastrophic coverage, if you make it to catastrophic coverage, $3.70 or 5%, and $9.20 or 5%. And then it will again break it down based on the pharmacies. So for this plan, you'll see that your cost before the deductible would be $19 for your medication. It would be $19 after you've met your deductible, and then here are the costs after that. For CVS, much less expensive. You wouldn't pay before you meet your deductible. You wouldn't pay after you've met your deductible. In the coverage gap, it's only 16 cents. And after the coverage gap, it's 63 cents. That's unusual. And then here are your costs in the mail order pharmacy. Again, if we'd put in additional prescriptions, then there would be more information populated here. There are actually ways to save money on prescription drug plans, specifically the Extra Help program, which may help to lower or waive your monthly premiums. And of course, it can lower your copays or your cost share portion when you're actually paying for the prescription drugs. However, there's income and asset criteria that you have to meet in order to be eligible. You may be eligible for partial Extra Help that has a higher asset and income limit and slightly less assistance. Or you may be eligible for full Extra Help, which has a lower asset and income limit, but of course more assistance. In 2021, if you make less than $1,630 for an individual or $2,198 for a couple, and you have less than $14,790 for an individual and $29,520 for a couple in assets, then you may be eligible for partial Extra Help. With partial Extra Help, your premium is determined by your income. You'll have a $92 deductible or the plan's standard deductible, whichever is less. Then you'll have 15% coinsurance or the plan's copay, again, whichever is less. And after the $6,550 out-of-pocket max, you'll pay $3.70 for a generic and $9.20 for a brand name. Then there's full Extra Help. So you may qualify for full Extra Help if you make less than $1,469 per month for an individual or $1,980 for a couple. Also, you'll need to make sure that you have less than $9,470 in assets for an individual and less than $14,960 for a couple. If you're eligible for full Extra Help, you'll have a $0 monthly premium and no deductible to meet. And it'll be $3.70 for a generic and $9.20 for a brand name, and there will be no copay after you've met that $6,550 out of pocket. If you'd like our assistance, please feel free to call us here at iHealthBrokers at 888-410-0344. There's absolutely no charge for our services, and we are licensed nationwide, so no matter where you are, we can help. And of course, please make sure to like this video and subscribe as well. That way we can get this information out there and we can continue to help you with Medicare updates because, well, Medicare does change from time to time, and we want to make sure that our clients and our viewers are as well informed as possible. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.